What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and I'm continuing my series of modern day silent movie reviews leading up to the release of A Quiet Place, and I'm here to tell you that Boy in the World is no perfect movie. So, this movie focuses more on this boy who lives in Brazil, and he's run away from home because his dad also recently moved away in order to find work. And over the course of his journey, he comes across several different people who show him that the world can be just as difficult and cruel as much as it is fun and enjoyable. This movie has some of the most distinct animation that I've ever seen in regards to its visual style, because the director used as many different drawing techniques as you could possibly think of. He used painting, colored pencil, he even used chalk and felt pens during some spots. And not only does this make each shot look so vibrant and colorful, but it also complements the drawing style, because these designs are very simplistic. They're meant to look like drawings that kids would either make during school or in their own spare time. And I think that reflects on the fact that as this kid goes further on his journey, he starts to learn through his interactions that the world works in a different way than he originally thought, and his viewpoints start to change. And I think whenever we drew pictures as a kid, it always reflected a certain notion that we had about life. And the limited amount of dialogue also does tie into that theme of learning about the world. I'd say there's about 10 to 15 minutes of dialogue in Portuguese in this movie, but here's the interesting twist. It's all backwards. And when you look at different things like signs or billboards that are drawn into the settings of this world, they're also written backwards too. And once I realized this, I immediately thought of when I was a little kid riding in a car, and whenever we'd pass by a sign or a billboard, I would feel the exact same way that this main character did. I would want to know what it meant, but because of my age, I couldn't really picture the words or really understand the meaning. And the same thing goes for the adult conversations in this movie, where one could easily assume that the father is talking to his mother about moving away, finding work, and coming home with money to support the family. It would remind me of conversations between my parents that I would listen into, but again, because of my age, I couldn't really follow it. And the thing that I wasn't expecting but appreciated the most was the fact that the visual storytelling could show the really harsh themes in this movie about poverty and manual labor being replaced by technology, among other themes, without dumbing it down too much for the kids who are watching this. Because many scenes do go on without talking, you can show a scene where a man is laid off of work for being too old and struggling to find a new job, but there isn't this really heavy monologue about how he has nothing to live for, because usually monologues like that in a kid's movie can either be a little too over the top in regards to the acting, or because hearing these words as a kid is so upsetting, it can off-put many kids who are watching the movie. All you have are these expressions and body language for each character in any given situation, and that's more than enough for a kid to understand what this character is going through and to feel their pain. I have two minor issues with this movie. For one, there's this montage towards the third act that goes on for like a couple minutes maybe that I thought was a little too over the top in the imagery, and I feel like certain kids, depending on their age, are going to be a little too frightened by it. That's really the only thing I had against that. And the other issue that I had was with the ending. Without giving anything away, it makes the entire story seem completely metaphorical. Like, if you take any of the story literally, you're going to be disappointed, and your kids are going to have a lot of questions for you that, because you don't understand, you can't help them answer them, and it might ruin the experience for them a little bit. But I was also impressed by the fact that this twist does affect the main character in a really huge way, more as a cautionary tale for him, as well as for the kids who are watching the movie. Boy in the World is one of the most distinct animated movies that I've ever seen. The drawing style is beautiful, it's colorful, the story has a real good heart to it, the message is incredibly important, and I liked how it talked to kids as if they were adults. It didn't dumb down the message in any way. And for that reason, I'm going to give Boy in the World a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. I'll look forward to more videos in my silent movie series. If you've seen Boy in the World, what did you think about it? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at noperfectmovie.com. And once again, thank you all very much for watching. Take care.